Hello everyone, and welcome to the league finals and semifinals. With the first finalist already figured out before Christmas, and now we're about to figure out the second one. I hope you're all as hyped as I am for this, as we have Gonzo versus Wesley, a game that was already talked about coming up. And both sides shit-talking each other for a while in the general chat, with Wesley saying that he beat Gonzo in quick match, Gonzo saying, yeah, that was only quick match. So let's see who is right about that, and who will be facing Kama in the finals, who in clean fashion went through 2-0 over Nev, 2-0 over Crayfox. So he's in really good form. Let's see who is the guy who can maybe face him and maybe beat him. Gonzo did so last season. Let's see if he is still in form enough to do it this season, if he gets there. Or if Wesley, the up-and-comer from Division 2 last season, can manage it this season. Before we get in, one more shout out to Matcherino, where the prize pool is coming from, that these guys are fighting over. So far, the winner is at $94.34. It would be nice, guys, if we could get this to $400 and this to $100 for the winner. So, yeah, how can you get this prize money up? Well, there's a couple of ways. First of all, use the link to get here. That's in the chat now. And then use the code Sherman for 50 cents to the prize pool. Or use any of the links down here, like just visiting the G-Fuel link adds a couple of cents. Following them, retweeting stuff of them on Twitter adds a couple of cents. Or if you feel really generous today, you can just contribute some of your own money here as well, obviously. Or buy something on the marketplace, like these lovely hoodies that I also have, but I don't wear today because it's final times, guys. It's time to suit up for this lovely experience that we are getting into. So, here we go, guys. Wesley versus Gonzo. And the first map that we get will be the lovely Orsha North, Gonzo versus Wesley. And there we have here, in an Exos versus Allies. And on the right side, in red, we have Wesley, giving us the lovely 10th Guards tank core. And Gonzo on the other side, bringing us the 28th Jaeger. All of this came after the bans have been 6 Airborne, 5th Cavalry Motorizada, 3rd Canadian, 3rd Guards Tank Corps, 3rd Mechanized, 2nd Infantry, so a lot of Allied bands, 7th Mechanized, and even more Allied bands, and then 3rd US Armored, so all the thirds, all the Allied thirds have been banned, 3rd Guards Tank Corps, 3rd Mechanized, 3rd Canadian, and 3rd US Armored. And Gonzo went into Axis. I mean, with so many Axis divisions being open, that's just fair. And that's how we got here, with these lovely divisions that are facing off against each other. 5th Cavalry often gets banned, and I think on Orsha North that's a really good ban, because this is still on the pre-patch. This is played before the 29th, I'm pretty sure. So it's not the time of the heavy tanks yet. So 5th Cavalry was, and I think still is, a really good division. And here we go. Mr. Wesley opens with a double capture on the flags over here. Can Gonzo's Jaegers hold on to that? The Oknamachiki is obviously being quicker than the Oberblitz over here. Maxim's coming up. And quite a couple of Shermans coming up in the north. In the south we have a couple of PTRS, not killing much though. Like, that's quite a lot of PTRS all over the place, but none of them really in range of anything. Really interesting positioning of them by Wesley. This one now will get the first couple of kills for the PTRS. Will Gonzo respond in time? Yes, before losing another one. Get students out, a lot of infantry coming in, supported by 2 MG42s. And the Sherman, big mistake here, not getting used to pin these units down just yet. And the Maxims are dying, and everything here is basically dying to Gonzo's forces, which are really wreaking havoc onto this whole setup of Mr. Gonzo, of Mr. Wesley. And the first Focke-Wulf bomber is coming in, the first P2 bomber coming in as well, but can the Focke-Wulf bomber maybe get the shutdown? This was before the attack angle changes, but gets at least a couple of bullets in, though I think it will take too long to turn, especially without it being microed by Gonzo. Yeah, this one will not get a shutdown, Gonzo calling it back. Second PA2 already coming in, so a lot of airplay on both sides from the get-go. With Gonzo getting his push in here, and the T-34 not really being used that well. And now the Jaegers are in town, now the T-34 also runs into the Pak-38, and Gonzo gets this town. Will Wesley though get the other town? It quite looks like it. Yeah, he's totally overrunning the whole position over here. Maybe the Pak-38 can get the kill on the BA-64 before it goes down. At trying to kill the T-34 instead. Gets the driver killed but goes down afterwards, and this means that they will trade towns. Gonzo is taking the one in the south, Wesley is taking the one in the north. 14-10 for Mr. Wesley. He's breaking a bit faster through because obviously he has the armored units that move a bit quicker. But now Gonzo is also on the march in the south. Jäger Pioneers, Panzerjägers, all moving in there. MG42s. Everything is going down. So with the situation being as it is right now, guys, who do you think will win? Gonzo or Wesley in this game number 1? 2-minute vote. Let's hear your voices. Who do you think has the upper hand? Who do you think is the better player? Let me know, let me know. Ersatztruppen. Fuck. The M42's coming in. But yeah, I don't see Gonzo taking this back anytime soon. But I also don't see his forces in the south being stopped that quickly. His units in the town are a bit stuck because of the T-34s at the moment. And T-34s obviously are an issue for 28 Jäger. You have Stooks, sure, but you have to get the Stooks into good positions to deal with T-34s efficiently. If you run two of them, one of them into two of the T-34s, you might be in trouble. But the Pak-38 actually starts to do the job. Over here, gets the first kill into this one T-34. If Wesley loses the second one, he is in trouble. Panzerjäger is moving up in the town over here. M42 is moving into the forest. And up on north, we have some Jägers and some Panzerjägers keeping this flag. Gonzo now gets the 13-11 into his favor. Jäger Pioneers hunting the Guardias in the forest. Guardias going down. And over here we have Jägers killing off the half-track. BA-64 coming around. Quite a couple of them spreading out, trying to get some good line of sights. They don't infect the front line because they're obviously recon vehicles. And it's action all over the map. It's insane. Fighting all over Ocean North. Jäger Pioneers will kill this Ognomachiki squads as they have 2-star veterancy. They will not take prisoners here. Ognomachikis are disengaging, and I think that's the right choice for now. Maybe try to bait the Jaegers, Pioneers into the T-34. So yeah, strafe them with the P-39. P-39 doesn't get the strafing as it loses line of sight. Focke-Wulf coming in, but has to be careful with the P-39 in the air. P-2 coming in now, that should do the job of pinning down the forces on the ground. Gets the bombs off, will get out before the Focke-Wulf has any chances of getting behind it. And the two T-34s now will deal with the Pak-38, especially when they are supported by the Heracobra in the skies. And now one of the PTR squads actually gets into a position where it actually might be really nasty. This one over here also might be able to kill a couple of Jaegers, though they seem to unload just out of range. Not sure if Gonzo sees that and that's planned, or if he just guessed it. It's for sure a good choice though to unload them where he wants to unload them. This 37mm might be able to kill off the Focke-Wulf, and that would be a nice start of getting air advantage for Wesley. It's trailing flag smoke for quite a while now. But yeah, gets the shutdown. Good kill there for Wesley. Taking out one of the Focke-Wulfs of Gonzo, and so far this game is still pretty even. But Gonzo on the ground gets a couple of pretty solid trades lately. T-34s over here are under pressure. Maxim gets hit by the Stuk. Down on the south, the Jäger Pioneers getting pinned down. Okumachiki trying to come in to take them out. Stoke replaces the Pak 38, engages T-34. 34 has to be real careful there. Wesley realizing it in time, disengaging. Second T-34 though also has to disengage, as it also is in range of the Stoke. And this gives Gonzo the town, giving him the 1410 edge, as he has 4 flags captured, while Wesley only has 2 flags of his captured. Oh no, actually 3, so it's... Oh yeah, it's 5 flags versus 3 flags captured. Both sides really thrusting into each other. Okumachiki taking out the Pioneers, but nearly getting taken out by the TNT, so the Panzerjägers will be able to do the job. And now we have to see if Wesley actually was careful. B810 spotting the Panzerjägers though. Might allow them to take them out. Oh no, they spotted the Jägers, not the Panzerjägers. Panzerjägers now getting out of force. I was a bit surprised by that. Like, I was like, aren't these Panzerjägers still deeply in the forest? And yes, they are. And now here they come. We'll try to take out the BA-10 first. Do the job there. T-34 is falling back. Wesley reacting quite quickly there. Maxims over here are pretty doomed with 2 MG42s and a Stoke firing upon them. 1410 will continue. And Gonzo starts to crack the position over here, and this is pretty bad news for Wesley, who's now down to a 915. Gonzo puts the pressure on. Gonzo puts the pressure on. VA-10 coming up. Hello there, Mr. McShaps. McShapsy. And hello there, Mr. Gunmetal Stoke. T-39 coming in. Focke-Wulf 190A8 coming in as well. And some pucks coming in from the back line as well. Well, we have a lot of matches to cover today. We have a semi-final and a final in League Season Division 1. So that's a potential 8 games, so we have to start early. Especially as I also have to play a bit of Civilizations with friends later on tonight, so... Gonzo on the way into the town, and most of the T-34s that Wesley had here got cracked by Gonzo, who never panics, who just evaluated the situation right, got units all around the T-34s, so they couldn't really get into any good cover without getting, like, were basically shot at any position, always in the line of fire, and he gets a Stoke with the SU-122, but he loses his T-34 commander. And I think the biggest advantage Wesley at the moment has is the air advantage, and he's about to lose that because his P2, I don't know what the P2 was doing here. I have absolutely no clue what that was doing here, and it should go down. Should pay for this deep incursion into enemy territory. Focke-Wulfs try to get behind the P39. They maybe should focus on the P2, but I think the Flak 43 should be able to do the job. Flak 43 is obviously being the best AA in the game. No! The P2 actually escapes, and this is a blunder by Gonzo. He could have gotten the kill there. Too focused on getting the Air Cobra, which I don't know if it really is worth it. I think I'd take a pick P2 over Air Cobra, because P2s are even hard to catch with Focke-Wulf A8s, as they're pretty quick. This one should get out though. This one should try to get home. Both Focke-Wulfs are disengaging now. And Gonzo really not losing anything to the PTRs so far, so the PTRs investment of Wesley in the early game didn't really pay off. Gonzo just unloading his units always on the right spot. Now he has a lot of Jägers coming in, pushing in the north, and Jägers are pretty decent in C2C, even against units like Automachikis, and if they outnumber them this heavily, then the Automachikis don't stand a chance whatsoever. Here the Automachikis push back, but this might give Gonzo another flag, and he's already up to a 17-7. Wesley under a lot of pressure. After the pretty fair trades in the early game, Gonzo just starting to take control of this game. And Wesley is setting up, I think, one final counter push in the middle and the south. And if that doesn't do as much as he needs it to do, he might be in a world of pain here. Starting to try to do a counter push in the north as well, but there is already 2 Stokes here trying to prevent that. His Automachikis also start to get decimated, as they're only in yellow cover against Jägers and Ersatztruppe in green cover. So it's 9 versus 10, 9 versus 9, 8 versus 8, 7 versus 7, 7 versus 6. So now the Jaegers take the advantage. 5-5. And it should only get better here from here on out for Gonzo. No, actually not. Yeah, but even then, the infantry basically is gone for Wesley, so he can't really push with that. But the push in the south now starts. He gets 3 flags there. So this was rather successful. Question is, how much further can he go and how much further should he go? Because this T-34, for example, is running into a Stuk and a Pak-40, and that is not healthy for a T-34. That's really not where you want to be at this point in the game. Over here, Maxime tries to cross the open field. So far is rather successful in it, gets another flag for Wesley, and he's nearly close back to a 12-12. Really, this is a lot of movement all around the map from both players. This really shows you the level of skill we are at, with still micro being given to all the units all over the place as well. It's not just like A moving, it's actually units getting microed still whilst being moved all over the map. Both of these players show why they are in Division 1 and why they are here in this semi-final. Pak-38 engaging the T-34-85 over here. Head off the Stuk. They might not be able to crack it though. And with another T-34-85 coming up, I would be careful if I would be Gonzo here, because these can wreak havoc on your forces. But he needs more infantry. Wesley needs a bit more infantry to break this town. Get some Panzerschrecks now. I don't know if Panzerschrecks are really the unit that you need right now. T-34 over here moving around, but there is a Stuk back here. And the Jaeger forces and Panzerschreck forces also still controlling the forest, so the T-34 is in a lot of trouble. This unit can kill it, this unit can kill it, this unit can kill it. And even the Jaeger up here should be able to kill it off as well. Wesley microing the T-34 back here. Another P2 coming in, trying to hit the top up here. Focke-Wulf shouldn't be able to react in time, as this is behind Wesley's line, behind the middle, so P2 always should get out of here, especially as there's also a 37mm to give it cover. Bombs don't hit anything though, so the P2 call-in wasn't too effective, and now the 37mm actually might die here to 2 Jaeger spots, engaging it. Especially as it splits fire, it doesn't pin down this one first. Jaegers don't have too much long-range fire power, only 1 MG42 firing here from each Jaeger squad, but even more so a reason to kill one off first, so that you split the firepower by half, instead of still taking both the fire. And yeah, that ends badly for the 37mm. Jaegers get the kill there. Now we see all the tanks here trying to get back into the town. They engage the Jaeger over here, but there's really too little infantry to successfully take this ground. And this map is really, really good Jaeger territory, because there's a lot of forests and a lot of light forest as well, so they can be positioned well enough in the forest where they can beat Guardians, but they also can beat into, on the edges of light forest, so that they can beat Tanko Thessalonikis and Automachikis as well. Jaegers are really annoying to deal with if the enemy knows what he's doing with them. Against a good player, 28 Jaeger is really annoying to play against. 28 Jaeger can be really, really annoying. So, Gonzo up to a 16-8 here. Jaegers get the kill onto the T-34 with a Panzerschreck as well. A Panzerfaust, that is. And Gonzo keeps the 16-8. 8 more minutes left for Wesley, and it doesn't look too great, as Gonzo is even pushing deeper in the north as well. Wesley is in a tough spot, and his push in the south didn't really do as much as he needed it to do. Didn't break through into the open, because the couple of Jaegers here in the town kept his tanks occupied. In the south, he just got overrun by a counter push of Gonzo after going a bit too deep with his T-34s and stuff. Infantry is getting caught out as well, and there's just too many Jaegers here. 17-7 now for Gonzo, and only one step away from the 18-6. I don't think that will take too long for him to take. either over here, or in the north. Now the P2 comes in while still 2 Falco Wolves out. They go for ground strafing though instead of focusing onto the plane. They just ignored. Trying to allow Gonzo to push even deeper in the south by hitting both Guardia squads, pinning them down really rapidly. Meaning that Gonzo can easily advance through here. That's the only 2 infantry squads in this part of the map. One small Guardia squad remaining over here. 2 more over here. One more T-34 has just fallen to a Pak 40. Second one getting shot at as well, and this one is already damaged, so it will not be able to stand up for too long either. Stuk now following it up as well. And there we go, 18-6 just happened for a couple of seconds. I don't think it will stay at a 17-7 for too long, as yes, already this front line is collapsing again. This one is just ever so slightly on the edge. SU-122 now firing back onto the Stuk. If it hits, the Stuk is toast, but it doesn't shoot too quickly, and Guardias in the town get eliminated, and that should be the 18-6 here again for Gonzo. Here we go, 3 minutes 15 on the clock for Wesley. And Gonzo just shows why he is the best Division 2 players of all time so far. The GOAT to beat in this game. Wesley really played a solid early game, but Gonzo just never gets panicked, never goes into panic mode, always assesses the situation pretty correctly and counters it with his own forces. And Jaegers are just such a good pick for this map. He played them so goddamn well as well in the forests. Got them always in the right spot. And forced Wesley to take bad trades. HS-129 now on the hunt. Trying to get the T-3045. But it isn't like Wesley was chanceless in this game. Like, if he plays a bit more cleaner, I think there was a couple sloppy plays, if you can call it that. Like, he played better than 99% of the rest of the community would be able to play in this game, but he still made a couple too many mistakes for a game where you want to win against Gonzo. And if he makes a couple fewer mistakes, plays a bit more cleaner, plays maybe a bit better strategy as well, then I see him having chances here. And I think he can maybe show that next game, because yeah, this game here is over. 21-3, 43 seconds remaining on the clock, but I think Wesley has a shot. Let's see if game number 2 can prove that to us, or if Gonzo takes it home as well. Wesley now trying to do the last hurrah counter push with all his tanks, moving forward over the open, but he knows that it's over just as well as we do. Gets one flag over here. Jaegers trying to secure the spot, but there's Pak 38s, Pak 40s back here, and there's just not enough time to take the flags. Armored push in the north. Tanks getting killed off by Jaegers and Panzerjägers. And this is just one last hurrah here from Wesley before this match is over. The M424 because it's the finals. That's how I'm in this nice suit. You have to suit up for the finals. And Gonzo wins it in 20 minutes and 40 seconds in game number 1. Let's see if there will have been any amazing units here. Fokker Wolf did pretty well. Stuk did pretty well. Ooh, the Jaeger squad killing off it. I think that was the one in the end in the building. Killing off Saperi, a Panzerschreck, a BA-10, a T-34, and a Guardia. Some of the Jaeger squads just did insanely well. On the side of Wesley, I don't think anything did majorly amazing. Like the SU-122 did well. Well, this PTRS actually was, that was the one sneaking behind, I think. That got a couple of kills. Gonzo never really figuring out that was there. So at least one of the PTRS paid off, and with that one paying off, all the PTRS, like, overall were balancing out, because killing one Pak 40, 2 Jaegers, and then you get MG42 is enough to pay off basically all your PTRS, and it a couple of other PTRS teams also got some kills. So overall, the PTRS didn't do too badly here. But they, like, this contribution came in too late. At the point where this one got its kills, the game was basically over already. So, yeah. With this game number 1 over, we will jump into game number 2 in 3 minutes. Keep your eyes open for that. Don't run away. Maybe get yourself some water or coffee and then come back for game number 2. So here we go again. Game number 2. Gonzo versus Wesley. Sorry guys, I had to wait for my coffee to finish before I jump into game number 2. So, let's go with the bands. The bands from Gonzo. 3rd OP, 3rd US Armored. And then 5th Cavalry, Panzari, 3rd Canadian, 7th Mechanized. And then Gonzo bans Lair and 16th. So 4 bands on Axis, 4 bands on Allies. It's always interesting to see, depending on the map, how these go. But I guess on Flit's Quest you don't want to play against King Tiger divisions, or divisions with a lot of Fokker Wolves. And especially not against Wesley, who is known for playing German armored divisions with Fokker Wolves. So 16th and Panzerlehr makes sense there. And we see Wesley also this time playing the Axis. So it's another Axis versus Allies. Vulcan's viewers base will for sure be happy about it. I'm also quite happy about it. And it's Wesley with the 12th SS and Gonzo this time on the Allies with 3rd Guards Mechanized. So Sherman's on Stats Quest. 3rd Guards Mechanized is an interesting choice here, it feels like, because you don't have too much to kill off Panthers and co. Oh, the stream game is still listed as Airborne Kingdoms. Ooh, thanks. Let's update that, obviously, to Steel Division. Mr. Gunmetalstock. Yeah, so much about professionalism now. Yeah. Here we go. So, the interesting bands for Axis for Allies makes sense on Flot's Quest. And, yeah, having another Axis versus Allies. The 3rd Mechanized, it's a stronger division, and don't get me wrong, it's one of the best that we have at the moment, but it's not the best map for it. The question is it still strong enough here? Or will Wesley just dominate with his Panzers and his Panzer IV on this map? And his Fokker Wolves as well, because the air tab of 3rd Mechanized is also not that amazing. Especially combined with an also just mediocre AA tab. So, not really much going there for these guys in that regard, but they have good infantry, they have Shermans, and that is always something you have to be careful about when playing. But what do you guys think? Who will win game number 2? Gonzo or Wesley? Let me just double check for a second, guys, if I really have started to replay. No, obviously not. Good that I checked, otherwise we would have waited here for a bit longer. Yeah. So here we go. Gonzo or Wesley? What do you guys think? 5-0 in favor of Gonzo. Oof. Already. Any Wesley believers out there, guys? Any Wesley believers out there? I mean, that guy didn't play a pretty amazing season, getting 2nd in his group. Beating guys like Kama. And Robert and co, so... he's not to be underestimated. Flammenwerfers coming in the north. PTRS from Gonzo this time. And they might get a couple of kills here. On the Flammenwerfers. At least one. Ooh, and second one as well. So PTRS taking these forces out of the equation. The longer this game will go, the better it will be for Wesley. As long as the trades are somewhat even. Because his combined arms is more expensive, but quality-wise also superior to this one of Gonzo. Gonzo has a really cheap, but limited in the level it can go combined arms. Like, he can afford a lot of Shermans and Guardias and Sis-2s, which are all medium to low cost units. Also some Partisanis and so on. So his combined arms is really rather cheap. Whilst Wesley's is an expensive one. And if he gives Wesley the time to assemble his combined arms, Gonzo will be in a world of hurt. Lumber is sitting in here. Guardia's coming up. So far it's a 12-12. We have some PGRs, we have some Sis-2s here. What Sis-2s coming in over here? Artisani's coming in. First Valentine hitting the field, and since the Valentines got buffed, this is the best tool in Third Mechanized to deal with other tanks, because other than normal tanks, it has a really quick firing cannon. 12 rounds per minute on a 6-pounder gun is pretty nice. And other than normal 6-pounders, it even has HE shells for it. Though these are not the best HE shells out there, so it's really not a tank to be used against infantry, but it can do it a bit. And in a 1v1 against anti-tank guns, Valentines really suck, but against other tanks, they're pretty amazing. Especially against something like Panzer IVs. Against Panthers, they will struggle a bit, but if they can get in range, they also will manage to stand their ground there. As they're obviously way cheaper than the Panther, so you can even lose 2 Valentines as long as you can take the Panther with you. And still get out ahead when it comes to points. Guardia's now moving in over here against the Flammenwerfers. And that's a lot of Guardias. Flammenwerfers not being stacked is a mistake there by Wesley, I think. If there would have been 3 Flammenwerfers up in the front, then the Guardias might have been pinned down. But so far he wants to bait them kind of into the Speerwagen, it looks like. Retreating a bit there in front. Panther D shutting down the road over here. Engaging the Shermans actually up north. Not doing too much there. Engaging the Guardias a bit. Speerwagen now has to disengage, not run into the Yamchas. More Panzer IVs with 2-star veterancy coming up. Vespe coming up this early is interesting. Wesley always a guy to bring some artillery on the field. A big believer in these units, especially if he thinks the game will go longer. He brings them out quite early in the game. Let's see if it can pay off. Vespers, though, ain't my favorite artillery piece. The LE FH-18M is not the gun I really want to have if I would play this game, because we saw them yesterday firing like 18 or 10 like something like 10 barrages and not killing a single unit, even though they had radio for half of the barrages. They fired into a cluster of mortars and didn't kill a single service member with like 5 barrages onto these mortars. So really the firepower of these LE FH-18Ms are really not that great, especially if you don't have them in numbers, because and you can't afford them in numbers in 1v1 situations, because if you have them in numbers, at least they're pretty good in pinning stuff. And then you can follow them up, but affording that in a 1v1 situation is just not possible. First Amcha is falling in the north, but Panzer IV has to be careful because it already got penetrated once. So it has to disengage, and Gonzo is approaching this flag. Already gets the 1311 as he's winning in the town as well. And the Valentines come up to go deeper, and the Panther's not engaging them yet, and he should. He should go onto the road, because if he lets them get in close, he might be in trouble later on. Because in the CQC situation, I would put my money onto the Valentines. They can get there together because of the high rate of fire, and in CQC situations, 115 penetration is enough to deal with Panthers. But they still need 2 penetrations onto Valentine to kill it. 1311 here for Gonzo, and yeah, you guys really are in favor of Gonzo, by the way. Like, that vote, at least we got a single vote for Wesley. At least there's one believer out there. So it's not completely hopeless here. Focke-Wulf's coming in, the classic Karma Focke-Wulf A8, I would call it. Coming in early, keeping the enemy from using bombers himself, whilst being used for strafing infantry units on the ground. Or AT guns, like it was being used here. Panther D now engaging onto the Valentine. Disengaging here. Gets the first penetration in, I think. It looked like it got penetrated. Yes. Gets penetration onto the Valentine as well. Can the Valentine follow up with a second penetration? It doesn't look like it quite yet. Second Panther D comes up in the back. And Gonzo puts the pressure on here. 3 Valentines, 2 Shermans, 2 Su-76s against 2 Panthers only. There's a couple of Panzer IVs in the north that maybe could help out. This Panther D also should come over. Yeah, it does now. And it's only 13-11 for Gonzo, so Wesley, as long as he can hold this territory and this territory, doesn't have to worry too much about it. He should be able to win the south in the later phases of the game, and Panzer IV is already taking out the first MCHA here. Is rather annoying for Gonzo. Su-76 now in a fight with a Panther D. Not the range you want to fight a Panther D though. Sherman now getting engaged by Panzer IV. Gets penetrated once. Gets penetration onto Panzer IV, but gets killed off. So the tank engagement so far not too bad for Wesley. Not too bad for Wesley. The infantry fights though obviously go in favor of 3rd Mechanized, because in that regard 12th SS doesn't have too much to offer. They at least have the fanatic trait, so his units don't surrender, but that doesn't help you too much when there's enough firepower with all the Guardias to kill them anyways. Guardias and Partisanis. Cis 3s really don't do much against Panthers, but Cis 2s do, so we get a gun jammed here after all. And a bailout. Ooh, Cis 2 with 2 penetrations in a row. That's rather annoying here for Wesley, losing the first Panther. Westbill coming in. Su-76s are really decent units at the moment. On this patch where we are here right now, they're not quite as good as they are, but now they're pretty insane. With the APCR buff, Su-76s are really, really good vehicles. And even here they are pretty good, because now they have 10 hit points, and for the price they bring, they really are tank destroyers now. 35 points for a 10 hit point tank destroyer with 10 rounds per minute on its AP. I absolutely take that. Comparing to 6 rounds per minute on the Panther D. You have a lot of firepower, and if you can get close enough, Su-76s can melt formations of Panther Ds as well. Issue is getting close enough. Focke-Wulf now coming in for strafing, but there's 2 ZSUs now for Gonzo, so the Focke-Wulf will not stay on the field for too long. As these should be able to force it back rather quickly. Yeah, get the fall back, get even a pilot injured, so this guy will stay home for a bit longer. ZSUs by now are pretty decent in keeping stuff like strafers away from you. They're still not that decent in killing stuff actually. At least not faster planes like Focke-Wulf, but keeping stuff at bay they're pretty solid at it, and if you get enough veterancy on that they can even be pretty deadly as well. Partisani DP's coming in himself. Not so far no pushes from Wesley whatsoever in this game. He's only fighting a defensive battle in the north, and that's it. Brings in 2 Pak 40s now, together with his 2 Panther Ds here. So his anti-armored force is really strong in this sector of the map. But the question is, what does he do against this now? Can he hold on to against this? Gets a Ju-188 F1 scouting plane out. Haven't seen these in a while. 40-point scouting plane. Pretty quick, 490 kmh. Allows you to get away from a couple of fighters and at least micro against the ones that can catch up to you. Allow you to maybe get your Focke-Wulf in to save it. But that's a lot of infantry, and yeah, really the infantry is what worries me way more than the armored forces of 3rd Mechanized or Wesley at the moment. 59 is where we are at. Luck 3 coming in. Focke-Wulf with bombs coming in the north, but the ZSUs even might be able to push that back before it drops, because it's a fighter bomber. And yeah, Wesley doing the really old mistake existing since Normandy in attacking where he knows that there's AA. Only because he knows that there's valuable targets there as well, but instead of bombing there, bombing here would have been way better, because he, or at least here, like bomb here would have been way better for sure. Second one also gets caught. Focke-Wulf even flying directly over the ZSUs, and now they might actually be able to get a lethal kill on this one. Maybe not. Not quite. But if they would have had 1-star veteran seat, this Focke-Wulf would have been toast. And Wesley is under a lot of pressure now over here. Yeah, he just can't sustain the fight against the infantry. Panther Ds only have 1 MG, so they're not even that good against infantry either. He needs the Spey Wagons. But there's Red Redguards with these, so he has to be careful about that as well. His Pack 40s have to disengage here. You don't want to lose those to infantry. You don't want to have them getting in range of the enemy infantry. MG42s in the south actually do a pretty decent job. Panther D is out of position though. Don't know why he moved it over. I think he wanted to push, and now he gets caught up by the push of Gonzo instead, with his Panther D being a bit too close to the front line. Gets a pin onto Averine though. Penetration against Averine. Disengaging now, after being bombed by the L4. Trying to get some distance between himself and the Shermans, but giving up another flag. 14-10 for Gonzo, who is getting close to a 59 here. Pack 40 is falling. Spey Wagons coming up. And the defensive battle continues. And this Vesper really, you can see this. These shells just don't do enough damage. Really, the Vesper for 105 points just doesn't seem worth it. This dealt so little damage so far in this game. If you want to bring in artillery, do it like Eugen did yesterday in the finals. Bring one at 50mm. Or bring the SK-18s. They, for some reason, are way deadlier than these 105mm ones. Pioneer Hitlerjugends now coming in. So the infantry push actually got stopped here, thanks to the Spey Wagons. Good call in there by Wesley. Good reaction in time. Ooh, but the ones in the north run into MCHAs, and that's not what you want to have happen. Pack 40 tries to help out, but doesn't, and so all the Spey Wagons here die. This is already quite a lot of burning vehicles over here. A lot of killed units from both sides in these forests and the village. Luck 3 coming in, trying to bomb the Pack 40, and there's no AA on the side of Wesley, and I don't think he has a Focke-Wulf ready. So the Pack 40 falls to an Luck 3 with 100kg bombs. And Luck 3 even might be able to catch up to the J80 188. Focke-Wulf it shouldn't get. Wolf should be a bit too quick. Second Luck 3 comes in for the MG42. Should get that kill as well. And now Gonzo tries to push back in here. Wesley. And there's no AT on these infantry units. Partizani is not being able to deal with the 231s. So this actually might work out for Wesley. Infantry over here also died. Gonzo being a bit sloppy with his infantry, it looked like. Getting a bit too many of them killed, and now being a bit vulnerable in the north. Though, at least with the bombs, he killed off quite a couple of forces as well of Wesley. So Wesley isn't in a really strong position to counter push here either. Whereas the push of Gonzo in the south continues. The Panther D and the Panzer IV really retreated far back, catching up with the Tigers, and this is a strong armored force now. It's good that Wesley preserved his forces, but getting back into this position will be rough, especially without air support. You need something like a fighter bomber here, I think, to give this, or off map or something. Vesper is not gonna cut it. Even with landing a shot right there, it didn't kill a single man of this infantry squad. These 105mm shells really seem to be underperforming heavily for the price. Like, it's so accurate in its fire and it still doesn't get a kill. It's just insane. Partizani is getting pinned down. I'd much rather have 2 mortars than a single Vesper. Or like 1.5 mortars. Or a mortar and a supply truck instead of a Vesper. Spey Wagons now pushing through. Running into Tankudas and Nikis in transports. Focke-Wulf flying over the ZSUs again. Will get pinned down quickly again. I don't know where the Spey Wagons try to go. They will run into a Sherman and an Su-76, and that's not healthy for the Spey Wagons, especially not when they also get fired upon by... Even against the ZSUs, I think they will just get pinned down. Don't think it stands a chance of killing these. I think the 50 cals can engage, right? No, they cannot. Okay. So then it's a nice idea here. Trying to kill off the AA. Hunting them, but Gonzo obviously realized that this is the goal of Wesley. Reacting in time. Trying to get them out of range whilst hunting it down with the Sherman on the road, and that should work out. So, nice try there by Wesley, but Gonzo reacting in time. Question is, can Wesley do something with this heavy force in the south? Because that's what he has to do at some point here. 1311 right now is okay, but he will not be able to push anytime soon in the north. Yeah, especially not after losing these Spey Wagons. So I think he needs to use the amount of forces he has in the south at some point. The Pack 40, I don't know if I like that too much. Something like a naval warfare or so would be really nice. Like anything that does AoE damage. Bombers, rockets, off map, anything like that on this territory would be helpful in trying to dislodge this formation and then push in with your Tigers, Panthers, and Panzer IVs. Flak 41 gives enough air cover against Lak 3s to prevent them from dropping its bombs. Pioneers getting overrun over here. Wolframen coming in the north. And that's the wrong... Yeah, that's the unit I was talking about. At least he gets the Bomber now, but yeah, Bomber will not kill a Valentine in one run. I think Wolframen in the south could have been devastating here. Tiger's at least doing a pretty solid job now. L4 coming in. But Gonzo realizing that the Flak 41 is able to deal with that in time. Vivagan though gets killed in the open. And Gonzo up to a 1410. Okay. Gonzo up to a 1410. Can you go 459 here? Guardian getting hit by the MG42. Tiger East putting forward. Panther and Panzer IV holding this position up here. But really, the infantry traits are pretty horrible, and the tank traits are decent, but not quite good enough. Wolframen now hitting the forest. Does he have enough to follow it up, though? Well, depends on the hitting. If it kills both MCHAs, yes. But no, even then he doesn't. He needs to kill all 3 MCHAs, and for that he needs a really lucky hit right next to this one. The Wolframen can do the job with its rockets, but let's see if it actually does. Only 4 rockets fired. Gonzo is not reacting, but only 1 MCHA dying so far. Second one taking damage down here. Gonzo now reacting, getting out of the forest. 1410 for Wesley. For Gonzo. Wesley still under pressure. And yeah, Wolfram down here would have been more helpful, I think. Maybe he has a second one coming up soon. He instead brings in more Panzer IVs for now. If he has a second Wolframen, then could see a situation. Like, Wolframens are really helpful on maps like this. Here's the leader. These rockets, Wolframen is reloading. Rocket Wolf coming in from the skies, pinning down the Guardias. Big wagon coming in. So you can see Wesley is preparing, but Gonzo brings in 2 Sis-2s, and these will make taking this territory even harder. If you don't bring in air power to pin down stuff. Ooh, MCHA here off Gonzo is out in the open, but Gonzo realizes in time. Gets penetrated once, but survives to fight another day. Both sides really on point with their micro throughout this game so far.
Just snatch them all up.
More STKFZs coming in. Another Panzer IV. JU-188 has to fall back. We are in C phase now, so income on both sides gets lower and lower. Will we see a second Wolf Ramen? Okay, Focke-Wulf Bomber coming in now, trying to hit the MCHF, trying to finishing it off.
That's one of the reasons why I can churn stuff out, is because
Can the 37mm though maybe hold it back? Focke-Wulf kills the MCHF. Yeah, but you get Wolf Ramen. Like, Wolf Ramen are basically reloadable off maps. So it's not too big of an issue that you don't get off maps. Question is, do you get... Does he have another one? Because I think he needs another one to effectively break it, or a bit, well, like another fighter bomber. Because, yeah, killing off the MCHF was nice. Killing off the Sis-2 here would be nice as well. I think then he maybe can even push. Tiger E now under pressure. Gonzo hasn't realized that he gets shot at. Yeah, this Vespa didn't do anything. This Vespa was really disappointing. And the formation over here gets bombed, so Gonzo is getting close to 59 here, and that would be devastating for Wesley. L4 coming in. Can Wesley do the push in the south? Tenko Nasaniki is getting pushed out of the forest. Galia and another Tenko Nasaniki trying to get in there. More forces come in the back, and Gonzo now gets his first off map himself, who tried to prevent the push in the south, and this push has to come really soon. I don't know what he's waiting for. Now bringing in an open blitz, I guess, for the repair of the Tiger and then for the Vespa, but yeah, he needs to push now. Like, it always feels like, oh yeah, I need to get more so I can push on later, but often that means your enemy also has more and then is even better entrenched, so sometimes it's better to push with what you have than waiting for more reinforcements. Because this is a solid combined arms and doesn't look like it gets any better. Like, if he had a Wolf Ramen, I would say okay, yeah, maybe. But he's on a 59 now, he needs to do something, and I don't see him doing it soon enough. It looks like Gonzo might take the 2-0 victory here in the semifinals. The divisions we have are 3rd Mechanized and 12 SS. Wooded 7. Luck 41, engaging this is 3. Tenko Nasaniki is getting pinned down. Panzer Force coming up. Wolf Ramen in the back. Panzer 4 now engaging onto the MCHF. MCHF gets the first penetration though, and this is bad news. But Redka is also coming in, Luck 3 coming in with the bombs. So this gets killed off as well. And if the push in the south has to come now or never. Meanwhile, Gonzo even gets another flag in the north. Panzer 4 is on the way there. Wolf Ramen doesn't want to die there, that's for sure. Panther can't do much about it. And he needs the push, but he doesn't get the push. He doesn't get the push in time. Like, now he's pushing, but it's 3 minutes 36. I have the feeling that that will not be enough, because he needs 2 more flags to even slow it down, and then he needs 2 more to bring it back to a 12-12. With the 3 MCHFs being positioned as they are, I don't quite see him getting the north back, even with 4 Panzer IVs. Well, maybe if he can kill this MCHF off, turret stuck at least, so that's a pretty useless MCHF now. So maybe he can get this flag back, but yeah, he needs to do it quicker. He needed to get in earlier. Now it feels like he is getting in too late. Trying to deal with the Sis-2 over here. They get smoked off by something. I'm not quite sure where this smoke came from. Yeah, they're getting pinned down. He killed most of the tank here. So he is doing the job, but he's just doing it too late. He's doing the job in the south, and if we would give him like 10 more minutes, it feels like Wesley would win this game now. Oh, this Focke-Wulf though might go down. Yeah. Who wants Direction C 37mm get the job done? All the tanks die in the south, but 2 minutes 27 should be enough on the to take like should be low enough for Gonzo to finish this game off. Tigers and Panzer IV moving forward. More units pushing in the south. Gets the flag in north, so only 1 more flag to half it again, but the SU-76 and the SIS-2 get the kill onto the Tiger. So you can't take this flag too easily. Gonzo are always so good in delaying stuff. So that's why you always have to push from like 2 minutes earlier than you have to play against other against other players to get your flags back, because Gonzo's delaying action is something you have to like think about when you have to plan your offensive. And yeah, so even if he gets it back now, he only has 3 minutes back on the clock. And he's not even that close to getting this flag right now. Gets the SU-76, but still has to get by these Guardias, so yeah. At this point, even slowing the tick down still means you have next to nothing left on your clock. SIS-2's coming up. Prevent it even longer. Panzer Grenadiers will try to get through there, but it's SIS-2 now trying to help out, killing those off. Next off-map coming in. Not getting the flag in the north in time. And he needs this flag, and then one more to even bring it back to a 12-12, and I just don't see that happen in time. Like, he has the better forces now on the ground, but Gonzo, as per usual, like, he gets back to a 14-3 now. Gets it back to 1 minute 30, but he might even get this flag back. That's still a 13-11. Gonzo with just enough stuff. Pushing just long enough and keeping Wesley just long enough from pushing him back to most likely get the victory here. Like, if Wesley gets this game back into his favor, this would be kind of a miracle, not gonna lie. Such a well-played delaying action by Gonzo over the last couple of minutes. Gets the Panther D now, because Wesley has to be get desperate now in his pushes, and that means that it even goes back to a 15-9 here for Gonzo. 26 seconds on the clock, and this is it, guys. This is it. Gonzo even tracking Wesley in the south once more, because that guy, yeah, Wesley had to get full on equation mode to have any chance, overextended, got crushed. 14-10 now as Wesley gets the flag in the north, but that doesn't matter. 22 seconds on the clock. No way Gonzo gives up 2 more flags in that time. Tiger will try to run into the town, but there's a two red guys even against the Tiger. Really well played by Gonzo there, this delaying action. Like, yeah, Wesley played well as well, but just lost a bit too much in some of the trades in the early game. Meaning that Gonzo, in the end, takes game number 2 as well. GGVP. And we have it again, guys. We have another league final involving Karma and Gonzo. We have a rematch of last season, and I'm really happy about that outcome, because that was the best final we had so far last season. Let's see if season 4's final can keep up with that. Damn! Really nice game here by Gonzo. He's still in shape, guys. Question is, if he can keep up with Karma, who looks even better than he did last season. If Gonzo's level of play is still enough to beat Karma, or if Karma can dethrone Gonzo this season. Yeah, absolutely well-deserved GG there, Prof. Ghoul. GVP here. Also well played by Wesley. We will see him in the game for 3rd place against Grey Fox. But yeah, this is this series. Finals coming up in 10 minutes, guys. Let's get the hype out there. Let everyone you know that the finals are happening now. And then we will return to the finals of Season 4. Let's get the hype going, guys.